we've just now, I don't even know what time it is. It's 7:22, and I'm calling capital planning to order. And there's something about a playground we're going to start with. Okay.
Yeah.
Julie,
All right.
it's all you.
So, as you know, Eloise, everyone else, but Eloise knows because she's on capital for the CPA. We did apply for CPA funds for this. But our project was passed over because,
explain why.
yeah, I'm going to say because all of the money that was in the pool was being committed to the other half of the Linden land purchase, the Pisgah land.
That wasn't the major thing.
Well, because there's a potential that they will receive a match, correct?
No,
That's not it?
what you said is accurate,
Okay.
but you can't use CPA for repairs.
Yes, however,
Since then,
see.
I've seen it's expanded,
yes,
and you're talking replacement.
we're talking.
But when we
replacement.
initially voted it, it wasn't replacement, it was strictly repair.
Was maintenance.
Yeah,
So,
you can't do maintenance.
so I think you can do repair, but you can't do maintenance.
You can't do repair, you can do replacement.
Replacement. So after Tim said that, I looked back at CPA and I looked on the website and there were many.
It's at the very
communities.
last of a page.
Oh, I remember reading it, and I didn't. I looked back and then I compared the CPA from the findings or the guidelines on their website to what we have, which are identical.
Yeah.
But then I dug deeper into that website, and I didn't. The wording was loose.
Oh.
And maybe I should look back, but regardless, I think
Okay, I mean,
Yeah.
I fought for it.
I wasn't
I am
there.
gonna vote yes.
Okay.
You know why? Because 100,000 is cheaper than the risk of a medical lawsuit.
I know.
When I was a selectman, we had a young child, broke his arm on the school thing,
Oh,
and we ended up paying 30,000. This was, 25 years ago. And medical costs have only gone up.
I know. Okay, so we did apply for CPA funds for this because that's what it's after.
So I just want to ask a quick CPA sort of question, because I know you guys have limits on how much you can spend every year.
Nope.
No,
No,
not within
You
your.
have three main categories. Now I'll turn it over.
okay.
to you.
So out of 100% that
Right.
goes in, 10% goes toward recreation and open space.
Yeah.
Historic, and then housing. Right there.
Correct.
And
Okay.
there's another 70% that just kind of lingers there, and people can apply for everything. But you can spend
As much as
each
you want.
year. Yeah, you can
As
wipe it
much
out.
as you have.
Oh, yes, that's true.
Yeah, which is exactly what's happening.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, Tim was just saying this is the first year. Hudson's had CPA for 13 years. This is the first year they've had no applications. So
Wow.
it takes, because there's money to be, it's supposed
Right,
to be
there's
to
big-
build.
yeah.
Yeah. People want to be building their communities.
Yeah.
In all sorts of different facets.
Yeah, but there were things here, like the tennis courts. I mean, I asked for money back for the 2012 bicentennial
Oh, for the
to
courts.
repair it,
Yeah.
and they couldn't hear me.
I know, it's ridiculous. I know.
And I just see it as a lawsuit waiting to happen.
Yeah, for sure. So, CPA was not a possibility. And then ARPA
Yes.
came onto the table.
Yeah.
And then Margaret assured me, don't fret, because ARPA funds, you can use ARPA funds. She just said to me in an email for this playground project. So even though you got passed over, because CPA funds are a great.
They're a different funding source.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But she said, because she also was looking at it from the lens of liability, and she said, yes, we have to get this done.
It's a
How can we
public
do it?
place.
ARPA funds, boom. So then I submitted to ARPA the request that, they collected, 90, how many?
Yeah, something like that.
90, requests for ARPA funds. So then they kind of.
Yeah, but they asked for a
They did.
request
Yeah.
for ARPA. And I don't believe they gave categories.
Mm-mm.
They
They
just threw it out. Maybe somebody comes up with a better
Right.
idea.
And my guess is they got some requests that were a sentence and some requests that were 3 pages. So
Yeah,
And
probably.
some- And Lucy Watts, Pleasant Street, she wanted a pig roast.
Oh, yeah, I saw that. What's her name? Brenna
Brenna.
Ewing.
Brenna, you-
let's have a pig roast.
Those are funds.
I would say we could all bring $5, and
We
if
could-
we got
right, we could
100
do this in
people,
different way,
we
right.
could have a
Well,
pig
then
roast.
What you can do is repair the children's thing.
And then
Yeah,
have a
celebration.
Exactly.
that sounds easy. Okay.
So then, the, who had said Margaret or Peg, somebody had said, we need a figure.
Yeah.
Okay.
you have to have,
Right. So I said, sure, no problem. But I was just coming off the tails of the school playground, which was just done 3 years ago. And I was on that committee. So I had a good understanding of how expensive playground equipment is.
Yeah.
I'm floored. You can roll over. But over there for those playgrounds, they spent, I think it was 117,000. They didn't make it handicap accessible though, which I thought was interesting.
Is that legal?
No, I don't know how they got, so the guy that owns the playground company said to me, the regulations on ADA are very clear. The enforcement of it, on the other hand,
is more subjective.
is more, it's up to the building inspector of each town to inspect it. I'm sorry, not to inspect it. It's up to a playground, certified playground company to inspect it. But if you're not ADA compliant, that's not part of the inspection. It's up to the building inspector to do that.
That's the first I
I
heard.
know, that's what I said.
Okay,
Hmm.
so what
And
would they
enforce
have
it.
to do?
To make it ADA,
Yeah,
they'd have to have an ADA compliant structure on the playground, which they can get away with it because some of the undercarriages of the big, massive thing that they have are manipulatives. So a child in a wheelchair could go up and manipulate it. There's no handicap accessible swing, which is just frowned upon. You know,
what do you
somebody-
do? Put something in the wheelchair and just,
So you would lift the child,
oh, okay.
and it's actually it's a massive seat, big plastic, huge, that you could get, any of us could fit in there
Makes me
easily.
think of Lamb Chop.
But the
The lady would in the really big seat with the sheep. I don't remember what her name was.
no, I don't see them very good. Yeah. But anyways, but the big expense is not the structures, it's the surfacing to the underground. That's, you can get the rubber padding on to secure it. So, but the rubber padding runs thousands.
Wow.
So for the quote that we got for this, I think it's 154. He built it. The design that we have for the town playground is there's rubber padding because the swings are over here with the swing. So there's rubber padding. You have to have accessibility to the playground, and then so there's rubber padding to the swing, and then the rubber padding comes back around to a handicap accessible playground structure, and then there's another to the manipulatives. So for this one, it's 150, but we could likely probably get that down if we strip some of those things away. But then part of me thinks like, oh,
Well, it depends.
Try
First go for your amount, and then if you can't,
yeah, roll it back. But I only asked Arpa for 100,000. But then when I got the quote, it was for 150, considering prevailing wage, like we talked about, and
go
the
for
ADA.
150.
So have you heard if you've had approval from ARPA?
No, because they don't. So at the last 2 select board meetings ago, or 3, I went to it and Scott Hawkins was ready to commit 75. Just right off the cuff. There was not even a quote. I just asked for 100 and he said, let's just give him 75. Also, we should keep in mind that the lead time on playground equipment is 3 to 4 months. And he just said it's getting pushed out further even.
as the country
Yep.
activates again.
Right. So that's well said. So as we wait on this, when it comes time that we have to move on this, we've put ourselves even further in a hole, right?
It's too public a place to just put a police do not cross line and expect little kids to honor.
Oh, no, they won't.
For adults, I totally would not.
Right. But he put up a snow fence all around it. So first the yellow tape playground shit, so you're correct, yeah. So we got another whole bunch delivered and a couple guys came. Last time Giannis did it. It was so nice. So nice to help. But we at least got the surfacing up to somewhat code. So if a kid falls, they're not gonna hurt themselves because the surfacing is okay. But all the structures, they're just old. They were fine, probably like cribs, right? Cribs used to be able to have a width like this in those cribs. And then over the years, they've shrunk back because kids' heads could get stuck, right? Same thing with the playgrounds. It's just the bars that were this wide can't be that wide anymore. Now they have to be, like this wide. And the railings, they can't be this high anymore. They have to be like this high so the kid can't top over. So it's not really that the structure itself is awful because kids have been playing on it forever. But if we had an inspection, it would fail inspection. And then he said, once you put it on paper and I write this inspection up, you're bound now to close this playground. And it stays closed until it's fixed. And he said, we can't even these, he pointed at one piece of equipment that we have. And he said, this is from my company. We stopped making that 15 years ago. We don't even make that. Even if you wanted to repair that railing, nobody makes that anymore. It's just too old. So we have to go.
Who orders playground inspections? Like, I know you could call them, but is there like a playground inspection team? Like a, I don't know, like a governmental team? Like,
I don't.
There's probably somebody who does it on the side.
But yeah, I'm just kind of curious, like, do you run the risk of somebody stopping by and being like, I inspected your playground, it's not up to code?
Oh, right.
No, like a surprise inspection.
Oh, no, surprise inspection, no, because you get inspected. I think you would just say, well, where's the documentation? We didn't pay you for that service.
Mm-hmm.
So you know who contracted for this service.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
Exactly,
okay.
yeah.
But I just think it's a public area. I mean, it's
for sure.
It's, if it was in a building and you could just close the door, lock the door.
Yeah.
Fine.
Yeah.
But it's in a public area.
It's in a public area.
Right by a school.
Yeah, that's used, and it's used a lot. And other towns come there, for the sports in the spring. It's littered with little kids.
I just see it as a lawsuit waiting to happen.
I know, and I don't know how. He said that too. He said, how many accidents have you had on this playground in the last 20 years? I said, geez, I don't know, just one.
And that was probably earlier than 20 years ago.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's the memorial for Casey Guilfoyle.
So that's another thing. I wrote that, I think, in this teeny tiny
The
thing.
family has moved to Maine.
Oh, okay.
But
do you have contact with them though? Because I wanted to just let them know that we're gonna replace it. I'll word it because we have to.
I know Robin has friends in Berlin. She was a singer at First Parish Church.
Okay.
You could check with Barry Egger, and if he doesn't know where she is in Maine, then he would know, who she still keeps in contact with.
Okay. So I think, so the playground was, people raised money to have it built because a little child lost her. It was a girl
She
drowned.
was 3.
Oh,
She drowned
in the family's backyard pool.
Tragic.
So we were always we didn't even want to touch the playground because we knew this, because Rob McKay explained the story, and we just didn't want to even take anything down. We just wanted to leave it alone, sort of close the door and not even discuss it. But then it got to the point where, okay, we have to touch this playground. So we want to reach out to them and just say we're going to, just in case they ever came and drove and saw us doing this. And oh my gosh, then all these memories came back.
Well, just ask for
the blessing. Yeah, ask the support. Any suggestions? Maybe if the child had a favorite toy at 3 that's, I don't know, that they would like to play on.
Just talk about bringing it. You need to bring it up to code. You didn't want any surprises.
Yeah, and we also want to do an actual, they have it everywhere. They have those lovely signs. They're big. I know I have to go through someone to get a sign. but they're wood and they're beautifully designed, and to have it named after the child, that will be the name of the playground. I thought that would be nice. So many ideas.
So,
So that's it.
how do we avoid this problem in the future?
Good question.
Like with maintenance and playground inspection, who's in charge of that? Is that a rec committee thing, or is that I don't know who else it would
An
be.
inspection runs about $400. So we could certainly put it on our plate. I mean, it's gonna come out of somewhere. right?
Ask the selectmen if they want to take it. If not, you'll need an additional 400 to
Yeah.
put it on your plate.
All I'm
You
doing
are
now
a
is my
wise
building.
woman.
That is smart. That is
Yeah.
smart.
No, it's called, I was a selectman for 6 years.
Right.
I am aware.
Because they should be inspected annually.
Yeah, but is that something Freddie can do?
Well, so that's the
Building
thing.
inspector?
Right.
Everything ends up falling on highway. right? I don't know how much more we can put on this highway department.
We need a
So-
facilities person.
Yes,
$400
As a wife
every
of a
year?
facilities
For what?
person, we need a facilities.
$400 every year.
every year.
Jesus.
Yep, and that's for just a,
A
baseline.
cursory.
She
Yeah.
looks good.
Yeah,
Keep
they'll
going.
document and do all that, but I mean, it's still a 3-hour inspection. But then an audit
Yeah, but
is
he's
separate.
eating lunch. He's
Right,
doing his exercise.
I know, right. Then you can convince them. If they want to take it on.
So I don't know how to phrase my question. Do we have any idea when ARPA funds will be distributed / committed?
Depleted.
I mean, if we say, yes, we approve your playground and we expect 100 grand to come from ARPA funding and the rest to come from free cash, are we holding you up then because you then have to wait for ARPA funding?
I
And
thought
how-
the selectmen had 300,000.
for ARPA?
Yeah.
I thought they had 4 something million.
No, they have 1 million total, but they're getting it in
Right.
2. And I think right now they have, I feel like that figure's right, 3 something,
Okay.
but 1 million total over 2 installments, I
Mhm.
think, right?
2 fiscal years.
That's bad. Yeah, fiscal years. Yeah. Installments.
Same thing.
Yeah, same thing.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
no, as far as I knew, they don't have, this doesn't have to go to town floor, right? ARPA
Right,
funds,
no.
Right? Okay. So I think they're dragging their feet. I think, and you were a previous select woman, so you would know. I think because they want to, I think the reason why you're getting all these ARPA applications now is because Margaret wants to see really who's serious about ARPA funds.
So we have one
No,
ARPA fund application. I even got our
but everyone
mailbox.
was
I was
supposed
like,
to, and the email said anyone that asked for ARPA funds needs to submit to capital planning.
oh, we should submit our own
right.
because we asked for ARPA funds.
Yeah, you should.
Uh,
Yeah, you should. Well, we only got 2
But-
applications, so
right. We're
but
gonna.
that's what I thought everyone was doing that.
So I know Peg Stone talked to me about how frustrated she was filling out our capital forms and how she wished she didn't have to do it.
I
Why
thought that,
should she be different?
And that's sort of what I told her. I was like, oh, I'm so glad now you get to see our process from the inside. And do you know how
do
mad I am?
see that there is a problem, in my opinion, between having to submit something for community preservation. And see, part of,
Yes,
they want it to go through capital planning.
yes.
But the way
Oh, right,
community
yeah.
preservation works, if capital planning says no, selectmen says no, and the finance committee says no, but the community preservation says yes, it still goes on the warrant and it can still be voted.
Absolutely.
Oh,
Yeah.
Right. right.
Yeah, I think it's,
It's a separate pot of money
yeah.
and it can't go forward. So if the selectmen and finance committee and capital wanted a certain something and community preservation said no, it can't be voted.
Yep.
Yep.
Yep. For me, as a member of our panel, that's an advisory panel, and we don't you know.
Yeah, but they
most-
like to hide behind advisory.
They,
candidates.
they,
Oh,
they
behind you
do.
guys.
Yeah.
Well, that's not
Um,
nice.
But at least I feel like we don't often ask for things that don't get approved. How about that? Because we don't often ask for
Right, because you
things.
don't ask.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but I do-
that's the nature of the beast.
Interesting.
Yeah, which just in reality makes more paperwork for us and more, I mean, we're
Well, that's what
literally,
I meant. That's
Yeah.
what I said.
when Peg complained to me about filling out these forms, I was like, do you realize that our capital planning's year is over? We hand you our thing in February and we walk away until town meetings. But here we are, we're having meetings because we have to discuss your ARPA funding. So
That's a
you
good
fill out the
point.
form, we'll talk about it.
Right, shut up.
Yep.
That's a
And-
good point.
Yeah. So, and no, we haven't gotten any ARPA funding requests that I'm aware of, except for yours. So,
Well, I thought,
do you have some?
I thought it was the fiber optics for the fire, for public safety communication.
Oh, okay. I take that back. I thought that was on the warrant, the fiber optic stuff, because they only need like 44 grand above what they've already been approved.
I have a
Um,
problem. I'm gonna make up a sign. When mother has a problem, everyone has a problem.
So true.
I think that's a very
Yeah.
fair
Alex,
side. Now, Eloise, can I make you pause for a moment?
Sure.
Because do we need to finish the
that's so nice.
playground?
Yes,
Okay.
I support it.
Okay.
Okay,
So
yes.
Make a motion.
no, I'm not gonna make a motion yet because I still have more questions.
Okay,
I
just write these down.
just don't want to make poor Julie sit here while we complain. So all of this is hoping to come from ARPA, or the other 50,000 you're hoping to come from somewhere else?
So, yeah, so, the other 50 I will need to come from somewhere else, only because I only asked for 100 from ARPA.
Okay.
And then when I got the quote, I said, ooh, 150, that's higher than,
Submit the quote and
Again.
amend your price.
it's that simple.
Yeah, we'll start there. Okay, so I make a motion
Okay,
that we approve ARPA funding for the full 150 grand
okay,
for the playground to be reviewed for possible additional funding sources should ARPA funding be adjusted by the board.
Sounds good.
Does that mean
Okay.
you second it?
Yes.
Any
I
discussion?
second that. Make it-
No?
Yeah.
All those in favor say aye.
Right.
Aye. Okay. I just wanted to make-
Unanimous vote.
awesome.
Yay.
So do I need to now submit back to the board, or is that,
Yep.
do you do that? I do.
Yeah.
Okay, and I'm just gonna,
Anna, take that
Yes.
copy, voted unanimously,
just make sure I wrote it
Boy.
right.
150.
Okay.
For 150K to be received. I can't even read what I wrote. Reviewed.
No,
Additional
the
funding sources.
South Street Bridge.
They said that will be done over 2 years.
700 grand.
That's not gonna last.
700 grand.
700 grand.
Come on.
Traffic safety just said that yesterday, day before.
That's in rough shape, though. You've seen it?
it?
Yeah, I'm a big lady. I don't want it to fall when I drive over there.
That's fall
I
either.
mean, bad enough. it
Like, is
would
this gonna
happen.
fall?
Yeah, I'd
That's
be
bad, though.
viral
Yeah.
something and my kids would call, Mom, are you okay?
Mm.
I'm so glad to see you guys again.
Yeah.
Feels so much more
Hasn't it?
real,
I know.
interactive,
Oh, in-person
personal.
meetings are the best. I hate even reading. We can Zoom too. I was like, no. No.
I like Zoom, particularly on a rainy night.
Well, depending on the weather. That's a good point. Depending on the weather. I didn't even think about the rain. But it's so you miss all the body language.
I
you miss-
understand.
Yeah. But on a rainy night,
That's
you're right.
why I attend all the planning board meetings. Otherwise, I mean, their meetings are what, 2 or 3 hours usually.
Oh, wow.
Otherwise, it would take me 5 hours to find out who said what.
Yes,
and-
yes,
Mhm.
totally right. All
There you
right.
go.
This is
So
from
now
what I-
you take that.
Yep.
Make a copy. put it in the select board's mailbox. You keep.
Look
a
at, I
copy.
wrote on here, ask if they want to take it on their own or should we add it to our budget? I shouldn't put that on them, but they have to see.
So you
I gotta do
take a
that.
little piece of
Yeah,
paper.
sure will.
stick it-
Hear that? Okay, and this goes in the select board mailbox and then they'll get this and then
Magic will happen.
they'll know what that means and
Let's
They're
hope
not
so.
Okay.
questions.
I bet I get a note.
yeah, what does this mean? Can we meet?
That's
No, no,
okay.
no,
Then
I'm
I
done
can ask
reading.
again about our ARPA funding because nobody's talked to us about our ARPA funding.
What did we ask for?
We asked for 55 grand for a feasibility study for municipal buildings.
I feel
Okay,
like someone talked about that.
Just to review what we have.
To pay some company to walk through the buildings, review what we have, tell us what's fixable, what's usable, what's sellable.
That's
Good idea.
$55,000.
Yes.
see, I'm sort of like him.
I'm not opposed. Do you guys realize that inflation went up 9%
I just want
last
to hear
month?
this part.
I didn't go shopping last month.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
I feel like I haven't
It's
shopped in
crazy.
years.
I think next year we're gonna crash.
I
Definitely.
kind of hope
yeah.
so. I kind of don't hope so. Yeah.
I know, I'm the
It's-
same.
I mean, this can't
I
be,
hope so, but I don't hope so.
No,
This
we're
can't
gonna
be
go-
the way
we're
it
gonna go into
continues.
recession.
people are gonna lose their homes and their jobs and.
Yeah, but they have before.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, people
I
will
can remember
recover.
What,
Yeah.
interest rates were 16%.
Mm,
Yeah, I remember that.
I'm so glad I just finished refinancing.
Just like thinking
Yeah,
of
right.
lobster meat, $60. Jesus, you throw it away right away. Throw it back.
And the lobster went.
$60
poof.
per pound.
Wow.
Lobster meat, yeah, not live moth. But in the grocery store, I went shopping with my wife and I wandered around. So I said, Jesus, $60.
Come on.
Yeah,
Where's this?
in the grocery store,
Wow.
Yeah.
$60?
$60 a pound. It's probably even more.
Who pays that? Who would pay that?
Nobody.
Okay,
Meat is
nobody.
getting ruined now.
Yeah.
I think it's crazy.
And,
Anyway,
yeah.
we got off the track.
But yes, unfortunately,
Yeah.
that's the best guess we have.
Yeah.
As far as how much a survey like that would cost.
I think towns get ripped off like these.
Oh, for sure.
consultants.
I mean, it's a government
How do
thing.
we fight that thing? It's just ridiculous.
I'm not aware that you can.
Such a colossal
What
waste
is
of.
it that,
Can't
what,
fight the beast.
what you're looking for? In my humble experience, I find when we hire somebody, I don't care what it is, and I say, I really would like blah. Guess what? The report always comes out and they give me blah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's sort of like with the public safety. I wanted them to just come out and say, you have 2 or 3 options for this position or that position, and they don't. They talk to you ahead of time and then they justify why what you said is right, in my opinion.
I will say, having hired architects and general contractors to do our renovations in our house, they'd be like, what's your budget? Like, I don't know what it is. Tell me how much it'll be to build
Right, yeah.
blah. And they'd be like, okay, we'll build blah. And they'll be like, whoa, I
Oh.
can't afford that. What are you talking about?
Yeah,
So yeah, you're right. I think that they
they very much
Well, that's a
tune
better
what
way to
they
do it.
report comes out to what you wanted it.
yeah.
Yeah.
I want to stop paying for space that we don't need and or use.
Right.
But I don't want to decimate or get rid of space that we could use or could need or is important.
Now or 25 years from now.
All of the above.
Okay.
Yeah.
How many buildings are there in town that are abandoned? That don't get, or,
There are no abandoned buildings.
well, okay,
They have-
not abandoned.
Some of them have
Have
junk
stuff in it. That,
Well,
that don't
depends.
have stuff in
Yeah.
it.
I mean, could you use the old fire station to put in the food pantry, to move it from downstairs to up there? The fire chief was talking about putting on, the space for them to sleep here
Dormitories,
Dormer.
yeah, yeah.
over the public safety section. Well, they could do that. They used to also sleep up at the Old Town Fire Barn.
Mm-hmm.
Up top before it became,
Leaky.
yeah, or,
Yeah,
in the state of affairs that it's in, yeah.
well, I think part
They're
of
gonna
that
put new
was,
roof on, right? Did we?
they have the money, they haven't done
it
it,
needs-
just as they haven't done the one for this one. I think they're waiting for the mold to get better.
They have the money,
What?
they're just not doing it?
They
Yeah.
had the money last year. We
The-
voted it.
yeah,
Yeah,
this
we did.
money has been a year.
When you walk down the hallway, look at the ceiling.
That's mold?
There's a lot of water stains.
So, but they have the money to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So who moves on that project?
The
Or
town
non-existent.
administrator and the facilities, Freddie.
But this, they've been sitting on this for a year?
Well, Freddie's only had the job for like 4 months, but Dave Smith said flat out he wasn't gonna do it
Why?
Really? Why?
because he knew he was leaving.
No.
Do what? Well, he doesn't have to do anything, does he?
Don't
Well,
you just
yeah,
have to-
they have to do something with the take off or remove or replace the rubber roof membrane. And they have to get on the new handler.
But really, he just has to call the company that
Isn't
comes
it-
and
right.
replaces the roof and,
Yeah, but you have to
Handles.
get quotes.
Yeah.
Right now,
yeah.
chances are the quotes might be out of,
I'm sure the quotes are out of date now at this point.
Might as well wait another year until we hit the recession. Prices will come down.
No. What we need to do is spend our 55,000 so somebody can come out here and go, you need to
Yeah,
fix that.
yeah.
Yeah.
your husband's in repair. Can we?
My
challenge him
husband
for
is an
five-
excellent facilities guy. We just need to open up a position here in town.
Oh,
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, how much
Yeah.
would he charge us to do that?
To what? To run the project?
No, to just walk through the buildings and say, that's out of this.
oh, to do
Oh,
what you're
that's an
asking.
excellent question. I
The
don't know.
windows are good, they're clear.
That's a good question.
You know, it is a good question. I don't know if he can. If like legally he's allowed to make decisions for the town because that's not his.
No, he can.
He
have a
wouldn't make
report.
the decision,
But he
he
can-
would
Or
just
somebody else,
point
yeah.
it out. to
Yeah.
us.
Yep.
Just like we have the book for what Berlin Memorial needed
School,
for
yeah.
the energy,
Yep.
and then for this building.
Yep. Yep. I don't know. I'd have to ask.
That's a
him.
good idea.
That's a good idea.
Does he
I
have
mean-
a side business on the side?
No.
He might
Yes,
now.
He might not. I'm always trying to make him hustle on the side.
Okay.
He's
There it is.
like, he works at a marijuana facility now.
There's
Um,
one that wants to come in,
Oh, is there? Where do they want to come into?
off River Road West
Hmm.
along 495. It's the Kane family.
Oh, the Canes from Hudson.
Mhm.
Hmm.
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 Mhm.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I
You know
do.
them. Yeah.
I do. He worked for some of them. Yeah, no, he works in Franklin at a grow facility, which is quite an interesting.
Facility.
Yes, it's an interesting facility.
I bet it is. I bet
So
it is.
next week is apparently 420 week.
Oh, right.
So they're having ice cream trucks every day. 3 times a day, the ice cream trucks come at 10, 12:30, and 2:30 for free ice cream for all the employees. 3
Oh.
times a day for 5 days.
Wow.
Yeah, right. I don't know,
Wow.
like, I don't. And there were
I'm in
other
the
things.
wrong
Now I
position.
know, right?
Right?
They're getting a goodie bag
get a
next
rope.
week. He's
Get a
not
week
even
rope.
sure what the goodie bag's
Oh,
gonna
what's in
hold.
it?
I'm like,
Oh, sure. Sure.
yeah,
It's okay, honey. We'll
yeah.
take it. We'll just take it.
Really, ice cream? Yeah,
Yeah,
It's
ice
like it
cream
pulls into it comes normally once or twice a month. But on the
That's
week of
cool.
420, it's gonna come 3 times a day for 5
420.
days.
Oh my God.
Do they have different shifts?
Yes, in different departments have to, so, he's maintenance and for the most part, he's there 9 to 5, 8 to 8 to 4, that sort of thing. But stuff grows all day long, all 24 hours a day. So there's
Wow.
always somebody there making sure the lights are running, the water's running, all that sort of, the humidity
Yeah.
is right. And then there's some process parts that go all day long, or 24 hours a day as well. It's amazing to me. Most stores in Massachusetts are seed to store. So they have a production facility somewhere in the state that is growing and making what they're selling. So
Oh, right.
they have a kitchen, they make cookies and brownies and
Holy
chocolates
cow.
and gummies and all of the edible stuff. It's not just plants and
Yeah,
buds
yeah.
and joints.
It is such a business.
It's a crazy
It
business.
is a crazy business.
He estimates that on 420, they're going to do $1 million in sales one day.
Wow.
$1 million.
What's
We're in the wrong
significant of
business.
420?
Apparently, it's the police code for marijuana.
Mhm.
Like if they pick up their radio,
Oh,
they're
I
like,
see.
"Oh, we got 420."
I
Yeah,
had no clue.
yeah. When it was illegal.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a big thing in
Something's
college.
hard.
Yeah.
Right. I remember that in college. It was so fun. Oh, wow, what a business.
Right.
Oh
Right.
my
But I'll ask him if he'll come and point at things.
It's a good idea.
Yeah.
How long would it
Well,
take
I
to go?
mean, what's the name? It's not Colucci. But he designed the septic system for the library,
Mm.
and he's the facilities person for, I believe, Maynard.
Hmm.
And he lives
Oh.
across the street from the library.
Oh,
Oh.
where does he live?
Across the street from the library.
Like the little tan house, like next to
No,
19
like
Carter?
the white up on the hill. Used to be Roberta Wilkinson's.
Oh, the big tall, the 24. The tall 2-story one or the short little bungalow one?
No, the tall
Tall
two-story
2-story one.
But how many real buildings, not real buildings, but buildings are there that aren't operational really?
See, part of the problem is, and don't tell them because, you know,
They're on your committee. I'm
um,
just on the rec committee.
it's like the highway barn. It was supposed to be so big when it got built.
Right.
The price came in too high, so they had to make it smaller.
How are they able to do that without going back to town floor? Remember we
Because
talked about this.
by reducing the size of the building, they got it within the price that the town voted.
Mm.
Oh, okay.
But they-
Just like if the playground comes in, if you get 150 and it comes in 160, you might have to
Got it.
maneuver. Well, that's what they did. They made it smaller. So now they thought all the vehicles would be able to go up there and they can't. So some of them are in the old highway barn. You also have a new 2 ambulances. One is, I think they're both stored here.
Here?
I'm not sure, but I know we have 2 ambulances
Right.
and they are stored. You also now have a Council on Aging truck
All right.
that gets stored. You also have stuff for the cemetery.
Someone said the Council on Aging's at the old highway on Carter.
Mhm.
Not- Is that what it is,
Street,
Carter?
yeah.
Yeah, that building's so cute. That's our old highway bar.
Mm-hmm.
Before it was the highway barn, it's where they used to have when you're driving your horses to go to church at the
Oh.
Congregational church.
Come on, that's where you kept the horses? That's cool.
And they're being frugal Yankees. When they no longer needed that, they dragged it there, and that was the highway barn.
It's hysterical to me. Our house that we live in, supposedly, according to Janet Campbell, was moved 3 times.
Huh.
So it used to live up on Sawyer Hill, at Sawyer Hill and Brewer Road. And then they moved it down to Highland Street at the bottom, and then they moved it up Highland Street a little bit. And they moved the church carriage barn as well, like around the corner, kind of.
Wow.
I mean, who moves buildings
who
like
moves
that,
buildings.
right?
No.
Apparently,
Frugal.
Berlinites.
Yeah, Berlinites.
They,
Frugal Yankees.
That's not a small house. either.
formerly
Mm-mm.
Indian Head Farm, which is now Cordelia's, that used to be the post office.
Yes, I remember
Before
that,
the post office was rebuilt.
Oh.
And what they did is they
They
had
moved
2 oxen. And so they'd get telephone poles to roll the house. But the oxen pulled it.
2 oxen pulled the house.
Well, it was a small highway, post office.
Yeah,
Yeah. That's so
But
cute.
still,
Yeah,
but still, yeah.
yeah.
that's amazing.
I grew up with 2 oxen in Marcow. That's what we had.
Yeah.
Wow,
Mhm.
so
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
All right, I have to go. Gosh, I've got some history. Oopsies. All right, I'm gonna put
Welcome
this
to
in the
capital
select board.
planning.
Yeah, I love it. I want to come to these meetings all the time.
Yeah, we need 2 new members. If you know of anybody, if you want to join another
Listen,
committee.
though, I'll spread the word. Yeah.
Yeah.
How about Rick?
I tried to get Rick on finance,
Yes.
and then he tried that briefly. He actually, but I tried that briefly. I think he had a conversation when they were down a member, and then decided he
No.
wouldn't sit well in that committee. That was before it was the committee members. It is that's on there now. This was back when.
Yeah, but that always changes.
I know, I tried
It's
telling them, but yeah, I
always
know.
evolving.
Yeah.
It is. It's always
And for
evolving.
you, be careful what you ask for.
What do you mean?
No,
Oh,
ask.
committee,
Oh,
committee,
yeah.
Two
new,
more meet.
2 more members.
I know if you don't know who you're gonna get, right?
Yeah, you
I
don't.
know you don't know who you're gonna get.
It's all changing.
And sometimes people are voted on to change things.
Yeah.
They think things are too complacent.
Yeah, I know.
And sometimes, it's oil and water and you need some civility.
Yes.
Yeah, that you're right. They have to be civil.
Yes.
That's got to be the requirement, right?
I love disagreement when it's civil.
Yeah, when it's civil, exactly.
So who's taking Sue Henry's place?
We don't have anyone yet. The school committee, the chair from the school committee resigned.
Mm,
Yeah, it's not good.
lack
Then-
of civility.
Lack of civility was, yeah, definitely a consideration. I think COVID was just these schools and these administrators, school committee too, like they were in the trenches. They were battling, and I mean, school committee is a volunteer position, right? And these members were, oh my gosh, they were verbally attacked. It was ugly. I wasn't on it then. I came on the tail end of all that. But I think,
It was
Sue's-
ugly when I was on.
yeah, maybe it's just been the culture of school committee that everyone just is ugly to the school committee. I just said the other day, I remember I say, your words when I said you had me sign and don't let them bully you. And I was thinking, like, does that really happen? Does that happen? But oh my gosh, it happens. It happens, and it is awful. School committee, I don't know if I'm cut out for it. I just don't know. But anyways, I don't know who's going to take her position. She was a powerhouse.
She was from the school. She
World,
understood
yeah.
the ins and outs of it.
Totally. She was a
And-
past educator.
Yeah,
I don't know. I mean, I think they do have someone finally. The seat's been vacant for a few months because nobody's chomping at the bit to be on school committee. Much like planning board, it's chomping at the bit. Same thing. But I think we have one candidate that's stepping up. I don't know who it is because that info hasn't been disclosed with me.
I would,
Chair.
I
You would
would.
do it? Anybody's
No,
done that?
I've
I know
done
you've
it.
done it.
Once is enough.
I know. I wanted.
He hasn't done it yet.
Right.
That's right. You haven't done school committee.
Oh, no.
You're
No,
right.
no.
You're already on the board. I can't pull you.
I would be very disruptive. Yeah. Yeah.
Sometimes that's not a bad thing.
Yeah.
When
I
I was on,
know.
I was the disruptive one.
Well, that's how I feel. Like I don't think our current superintendent likes. He's tough to work with. I think he doesn't like to. I just don't think he listens well.
I think looking back, I was perhaps a tad harsh.
I know.
But
looking
the
back, right.
school superintendent has to listen to many people. And what you might consider, top of the line, she might say, that's even on the list of worries,
I know.
Yeah.
But my thing is, we have to remember, and then I'll go let you move. Like our goal is student achievement, right? That's our goal as school committee members.
At the price we're paying, they're getting a private school education.
Right.
Yeah.
So we have to fight, even with the town, with the budget, like you have to fight for these kids.
What is it, 18,000 per pupil? Well,
Yeah, I think it's 18. Yeah, I think the state, oh, no, I
No,
don't,
I
no,
think it's-
16.
I think it's 19. I
No,
was
for
just,
Berlin?
yeah, it's more than,
Then it's 18 and the
Mhm.
state's 16 and Boylston's 14. I think that's where we're at right now.
that's outrageous.
Yeah.
It really
It
is.
would cause problems. Yeah, I like it.
it is, but the state keeps throwing on this
Sure.
mandate and that
100%,
mandate.
yep.
And you have to, teach them in their own education, which, I can sort of appreciate.
Yeah, it comes from the state, unfortunately.
But there are a lot of mandates. And there were when I was on.
Mhm.
It's crazy.
I just think too, now the schools are, I mean, because of the pandemic, these kids, they're taking a hit. They're taking a hit. And so for the town to say, we need you to come down lower on the budget, I don't know, I was shocked. I just was thinking, like, where's the support?
Well,
for
see,
these
you
kids?
represent the school to the town, but you have to represent the town to the school.
Yes.
And usually what I have found and observed over the years is if Boylston is in a financial difficulty,
Mhm.
they have no problem reducing to accommodate Boylston. But when I was on, Berlin was the poor town and they didn't care,
Mm,
that made it hard sometimes.
sure. The Boylston, they're not funded. They get less funding for the school than we do now. Berlin gets more funding. Because we have different needs though. It's all dependent on your need, right, in the schools, right? I don't know. I don't know. Budgets are an interesting thing, right?
Yeah.
Budgets are an
I read
interesting
them
thing.
when I'm having trouble sleeping.
Yeah, they're awful. And then the numbers, there's just so many charts, numbers, and I just say, just make it
And
make
yet,
sense.
sometimes you have to read it and then you have to sit back and think about it for 2 or 3 weeks
Sure, you have to digest it.
before you
and
can
go
go
back.
back
You're
and
100% right.
have a handle for it.
Yeah.
So
Well,
yeah,
thank you
so
for
listen,
coming.
I'll keep an eye out for planning board. If you guys keep an eye out for school committee, who
Yeah.
wants to sit on that? Maybe Ellen.
Okay.
Why, who's leaving on the planning board?
Well, you still need more members. You only have,
Planning
Oh,
committee.
capital.
I mean,
Capital planning.
oh my gosh, you meant capital planning. See,
Yeah.
no one's even on the planning board. No, look, you'll go back and say, wait a minute, the planning board.
Now,
Bye,
today,
thanks.
5 o'clock was the last day to pull your papers. So now that I don't believe anybody's pulled their papers, now I can go on to do my ballot.
Oh, boy. So tell me about your issue with radios.
I support the project. It was a problem when I was a selectman. All right,
I'm glad we're not talking about microwave anymore.
Yeah.
Because I didn't support that.
okay,
So we fry our heads.
but 300,000 was coming from Riverbridge.
Yes.
There's no wire to Riverbridge.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense.
I asked the fire chief to get a price to bring it from here down to Riverbridge.
Sounds fair.
Yeah, if the money comes from there.
If the
Yeah, it
money,
is our money, but yeah, still, yeah.
if the bulk of the money, if it's 344,000, they want 300,000 from Riverbridge, which they already have the donation, 44 from the town, but then they're not getting anything. I mean, I realize they're getting it once everything gets, but that's, I believe, one of the big blind spots.
Yes.
And it's going to be one of the big areas that calls them, that they're going to be operating out of. It's not like
Well,
it's a
I'm
field.
curious if we find out that. I know when I was a selectman 100 years ago, East Berlin and around Gates Pond, it was hard for them.
Mhm.
So if we get something to Riverbridge, would that get rid of some of the dead spots along River Road? I don't know how far that would extend.
Yeah,
Probably would.
So
Yeah, because-
you might think I overstepped my bounds. I don't care.
I'm glad you don't care.
Well, they don't boil people in oil anymore. That was the only thing I worried about.
I'm glad to know. I mean, personally, for me, the tarring and feathering thing has always worried me because that tar is hot when it's poured on you.
Right.
Like, I wouldn't mind being covered in feathers,
Well,
but having
sorta
my
like
skin burned,
Boiling in oil.
like boiling
yeah.
in oil.
Yeah,
Yeah. No. I'm glad that you're not worried that I would be offended. Because I'm not, and I don't think you overstepped any bounds.
No, I thought about it and I said, this isn't right. They're paying the lion's share and they're not getting a direct benefit.
Yeah.
They get the same benefit that I do. But I think when they're paying the lion's share, I need to know.
Excuse me. So I'm going to suggest that as far as any sort of approval for that, we hold until we hear about the cost of a line to Riverbridge and or what the coverage will be like in the Riverbridge and the East Berlin area. And
Well,
if
I'd
those
like
will-
to know what are the dead spots?
Yeah,
I mean, until you know where the dead spots are, it's
Yeah, how
hard
do you
to
know
do
what to-
something
yes.
to do.
yeah.
Maybe we should ask the state legislature for a waiver and put a tower up on Ball Hill. There's an old lumber road going in, go in as far as you can.
There's an old lumber road. That'd be cool.
Yeah. I walked up there with my brownies. That's the
Oh.
highest point in Berlin.
Is it really?
The Mount Pisgah? Or
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, not. Is Pisgah and Ball Hill the same?
Pisgah is on Ball Hill.
Okay, I see.
And there's actually two. One is designating it's the tallest thing in Berlin, and that's in the ground. And then there's another thing about the tallest from like Boston that you can get from sight.
You can right now, if you go up on the Highland Ridge development behind my house, you can see some lights of Boston.
You can.
Through the trees.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
they'll get rid of their leaves come November.
Yeah, no, you can see them now with the
Oh,
with the leaves gone. I was just impressed the one day I was up there.
Did we also
That's the
ask
only thing that impressed me up there.
somebody to give us presentation about this equipment and stuff like that? What?
They did.
Oh, they did.
Yeah, on Zoom, one of our meetings.
did they actually come? Did I miss the meeting?
No. I don't.
I went to a meeting about this stuff. I was in Florida. It was on Zoom. I honestly can't tell you if it was this or if it was,
I don't remember the.
you don't remember them.
I remember
Both.
Eric saying, oh yeah, they'd love to come and
Yeah,
talk to you.
But
That's the last I remember.
Right.
And then I was thinking, I read through the whole thing. And
Oh, now I remember what you guys are talking about. Yeah. Yeah.
Vendor come in and
Yeah.
explain how.
And then wasn't I was supposed to ask you guys. Okay, let me back up. Do we want to have a vendor come in and talk about this?
It's a lot of money. Yeah. And,
it's a lot of money. The other thing a vendor has to appreciate, I'm sure they do. Because of the amount of money, I believe it all has to go out for bid.
Mm-hmm.
And they would have to recognize that they might not win the bid.
Right,
yes.
right.
Well, I feel bad because if somebody desperately wants the bid, does all the work, and then another company gets the bid,
Right.
that leaves a bitter taste in my
Yeah.
mouth.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you at all. Are the bids blinded? Do you know in general? Are they blinded or are they?
They know how much you've got. I mean,
Yeah.
right after town meeting, I get all sorts of calls. Can you tell me what was the price that was awarded for this
Yeah.
and that? And we have to deal in public information.
Oh, sure. But if I put that out to bid, the thing, and I get 3 bids back, do I go, oh, this is Bob's bid and this is Sue's bid and this is Eloise's bid? Or do I go, okay, I got a bid for 315 and I got a bid for 317 and I got a bid for 320. I'm going to take 315. Does that make sense? Do I know?
Yes and no. You do know who submits the bid.
Yeah.
You have to go through and make sure the bids are comparable,
Okay.
because sometimes
They're not.
they're
They're not.
not. And that's why you have a real low bid, because they didn't bid, they didn't put this
Right.
piece in.
Right.
But
Because they do, oh, you
usually
want that too? It's around $20,000.
you're
Right.
supposed to go for the lowest, there's a certain word, like lowest valid bid.
Yeah.
So you can't just go willy-nilly, I like you, I don't like you.
Right.
Right. But you need somebody with knowledge to compare, to see,
Right.
is there a difference or they're all the same?
Right.
They usually are not the
That's
same. Yeah.
why they like to have the RFC, they let oh, my mind, see, I was out in the rain and it just got my brain soggy. That's why they like the code, and I believe the amount of money, it has to go on the state register. So, and that goes out in public. I mean, I'm sure it's somebody's job
Yeah.
to view it every week. But it's always been a problem. And I would like to take care of it once.
Yeah. Agreed.
I hate when the fire department says, well, we'll buy 5 outfits. Okay. But there are 10 on the truck. Well, why don't you buy 10? Or a shift or something.
I agree. No, we have already approved though, right? Last year we approved 300 and something thousand for that project. For police and fire radios.
That's for the actual radios.
That was for the towers.
I don't think so.
Was it last year or was it early this year? No.
That oh,
Okay, so they were initially February 25, they were looking for available Arpa funding.
we under Tom Galvin, so it was last
Yes.
year, we approved 300,000+. I think it was 315 for radio installation around town, because Tom was going to install those microwave units that was going to fry our brains.
Yeah.
Literally.
I know.
I'm so glad you're with me, because sometimes I'm a
Yeah.
freak like that. So we already approved the majority of this money because they didn't spend it on those towers, and Tom left. So they have most of this funding sitting in an account somewhere. And I thought they were just looking for the additional like 40,000 or 45.
I thought the money they were planning to use was 300,000. They initially got a $350,000 amount from.
Yeah, they got a donation, they called it.
Yes,
Donation,
from
yeah.
Yeah. And we approved, I don't know where from. It's
from the Rockwell
who's the Rockwell?
River Bridge.
Oh, okay.
That's
The
the official
residents
name
is
of
down
Rockwell.
there.
Yeah,
And that's my objection.
Yeah.
right, because they're not getting
I think
service.
for that amount of money, they gotta get a direct line.
That sounds fair. But in our case, we're just talking about that extra 50,000.
I can't support spending 50,000 when the 300,000 to pay for this is for River Bridge, Rockwell.
Yep, I can't argue with you
Well,
about.
You can, that's okay.
No, I won't. I won't argue with you. Thank you for pointing out my grammatical errors. I will not argue with you. Because at the very least, I'd love to know, I mean, if another line to River Bridge adds $100,000,
Yeah,
then maybe we should make a new plan. If another line to River Bridge adds $5,000, well, yeehaw,
If
let's
it-
go for it.
if it costs 100,000 for a line, you've already got 300,000.
What's one more?
What's one more to take care of a major project?
That's,
And I would take it out of the general stabilization fund.
yeah.
I mean,
Well, it
putting
can come
money-
out of public safety.
I don't know, because I didn't know I know they just received the money from Highland Commons mitigation, but they also pay for like 2 people and pay so much for expenses.
Yep.
And June didn't have that breakdown, and I said, that's fine.
Yeah, I think we have it somewhere.
But even if because although it's done by public safety, it is the safety of the town.
Yes, yes. So why don't I reach out to fire, you think, or,
And Eric too,
yeah, I'll
Yeah.
email them
Oh,
together
yeah.
and ask, say we have a question about making a line.
The fire chief came to my office Tuesday and he said, did you really ask the cost of a line? I said, yes. And he said, I will get that amount.
Okay,
So you can just ask him when we can expect that. amount.
okay. We were talking, Eloise said you'd get it to us. When can we expect it?
Yes.
Perfect. I can
When
do
is
that.
our next meeting?
Uh, Oh,
Like, did you ever see this? This is what Guardian did.
yeah, I think so. That's from a year or two ago, or
Yeah,
That's for
Yeah.
the,
2018.
for the school.
For the, this is for this building for energy.
so 4 weeks from today is the 12th of May. That is the week after town meeting.
It's 3 days after the town election.
Yeah, so, and I don't think, unless there's new ARPA funding that comes up for discussion, at the moment, we got nothing to talk about. In a month.
Does
Do-
that mean that we're gonna lose money if we don't spend it?
No,
No.
no.
Oh, okay.
And we're
They
not
have
spending.
like- They have like 2 years. to
Yeah.
spend.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Yeah. So I'm gonna suggest,
Okay, quickly to that idea.
Yeah.
For the town buildings review, can we hire like your husband or plus somebody else and do it that way? Do we have to pay 50 grand? That's really,
I think it's exorbitant, but I understand that you're talking about people with professional.
yeah.
I mean, we're talking about something like that Guardian book that you just held up. Created,
Does it really
For
have to be
town.
that elaborate?
In order to get grants, yes.
yeah,
Oh, okay.
Okay, but they also deal with shower heads, flush valves, office findings.
But for this building, if I understand correctly, we're just looking. In what shape are they? Should we tear them down or should we reuse them?
Oh.
Or what?
right. And some guess of like, you know, this building requires 500,000 in repairs and this building requires 5,000 in repairs. That sort of construction cost as well as usability. Did you look at all at the town of Medfield or Medway, their
I think you
report
said
that was
actually Medfield.
in Medfield?
I did look at that.
Because it was quite a fancy report. Unfortunately, what it didn't have was the name of the company that did the report. So I actually emailed the town administrator in Medfield, and they neglected to get back to me. So,
But I thought, wait a minute, I think I had something else.
So are we moving forward with these major expenses like bridge and, you know, communications? Not yet.
so bridge, we approved the design and engineering.
Architect.
Yeah, which remains at approximately whatever 100,000 that we, that we approved. And it was just traffic safety 2 nights ago where, sorry, I just got stuck on the new highway guy's name. Where the highway guy,
Freddie?
yes, thank you, Freddie. He, yeah, he said that they just got construction costs. And so it was a total project cost of 700,000. And they submitted for grants this week. So
State.
for the state, yeah.
The thing is, the state doesn't want, they want you to design it 1 year with, you know, with their help, and then fix it the next year.
You mean finish the project with next year?
Yes, because they know you're gonna go back to them for,
I remember the bridge that we're building, the Jones Road Bridge. My God, that one took 2 years to finish it.
yeah. This
You know, when
isn't
you go
really
to the
what you,
dump, there's a brook going under.
I've never been.
You've never been to
My husband worked at a trash and compost facility for the first 18 years we've been in town. And since he moved on to marijuana, it's been a year, and he goes to the dump. So I don't even know where it is. I have no idea.
yeah, I know, he signed a nomination paper,
He signed a nomination paper?
because you didn't sign it, and I said, huh, he must have gone alone.
Oh. Yep. Yeah.
Well, usually if there's two, you see they went together.
I'm annoyed because the dump sticker is on his truck and it's a stick, and I don't know how to drive a stick. So I can't take the trash to the dump.
Oh, you can tell him you're
That's a
gonna,
perfect
and
excuse.
he won't want you to play with his truck.
Exactly.
Right.
Yep. So hence the
think I'll
reason I've
go
never been to
down.
the dump.
Jones Road Mall, you're missing that part.
Jones Road Mall.
Yeah,
There's a
Yeah.
mall.
it's a take it and leave.
Take it.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. I'm not missing that. My husband worked at a place, that had one of those. So every time something that was cool came in, it came to our house. And he was
I
like,
get
this is
all the
cool.
Bicycle and skis for my grandchildren there for nothing.
Okay. I have a couple of things
Yeah.
before we finish. Can we do Thursday, the 9th of June is our next meeting? How does that sound? We'll skip May. Does that work? Ooh, this is when you're going to be.
Going back to where I came from.
Yeah.
Slovenia for 3 weeks. I'm leaving on the 8th June and coming back the end of the month.
Okay.
Well,
But-
how about if you want to meet in May, how about the next week from the 9th?
Which is the 19th. Is that really, that can't be right. So yes, so we were originally talking the 12th, we could do the 19th of May. And then,
And that way you can evaluate, well, I gotta put up an agenda at the same time, evaluate town meeting votes.
yeah, there you go. That's a great agenda.
So 19th.
The 19th,
What time?
7 here in person. And then I have two issues. Our next Thursday, the 21st, the Board of Selectmen is doing coffee talk via Zoom, in which they expect people who have items on the town warrant to talk about their items. I talked about it last year on that.
I thought you
Warrant?
were great.
Did you? I'm so glad. I was really bad at town meeting. I don't know what happened to me. But I'm going to be at the veterinarians next week with all 4 of my pets for 3 hours. It's a wellness visit. So I won't be able to talk about those items. Do either one of you want to get on Zoom and talk about capital planning items?
I'm bad about that. I don't think I have enough knowledge to.
You've been here for all the meetings.
Did you do it?
I can ask FinCom to do it. So same problem with town meeting. I didn't realize the town meeting was the 2nd.
It's always the first Monday and then the election's always the second Monday.
Yeah, I didn't realize that the first Monday of
Came so fast.
was the 2nd. Yeah. I thought it was going to be the next week. It's Monday, May 2nd. And I am flying back from Florida and my flight lands at 6. So I might make town meeting. I might not.
I'd still be looking for my luggage.
Luckily for me, I have stuff that lives in Florida. So when I go back and forth, I don't carry luggage. I just got tired of it.
Wonderful.
Some days. But so yeah, if either one of you want to speak at town meeting.
I can't.
Oh yeah, that's true.
No.
Okay, John, it's all you if you want to. If not, FinCom will do it.
No.
Or
Okay.
selectmen.
Or a selectman.
Sure.
Usually, Scott, usually our items get handed to the selectman. No, I'm sorry. Usually our items get handed in with FinCom's package and then FinCom rips them out and hands them to me.
Well,
And
tell
tells
them
me.
this time.
They can keep them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You'll be away, you're packing and I'm working.
I was looking forward to like voting with the little clicker thing again. I must make your job so much easier. Somewhat easier.
Part of the problem is the people who have stuff voted at town meeting want it certified the next day. And usually once town meeting's over, I have to put it aside to get ready for
The election. Yep.
You know, absentee ballots, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And they don't understand. I have offered to type up the minutes before the meeting started, but they just have to go with however I decided to go with. Mary Ellen always did that. She says, always make sure it's a positive vote. And then as you sit there and they're doing things, at worst, you cross it out and then delete it when you get home.
Oh, well, there you go.
It just takes a lot of time.
Yeah, I'm sure. Okay. Any other capital planning issues?
Who's up for reappointment this year?
I have no idea.
Oh, okay, I don't either.
Who got I think I got reappointed last year. Maybe.
I thought I had a 2-year appointment.
You should. We all should have. It's only your first year that is a single year. And then after that, it's supposed to be 2 years.
So
No, I
I
thought they were
joined
3
you.
years. The first time it's 1, 2, and 3, so that you get on a rotation. That way, any board has some institutional memory on it. But when people leave in the middle of a term, somebody else
Fills in, yeah. Huh,
I
I have
don't
no
think
idea.
of it when I'm in my office, but I always think of it in the car, when I'm home, at a Capitol.
Yeah, I don't know. Are you gonna leave us?
Say no.
Yeah, you can't.
Part of me says I have to start withdrawing,
Nah.
and but it's not, I feel bad because it's not like you have people,
Right.
good quality people
Mm.
willing to put in the time and effort.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd hate to see you stranded,
Mm-hmm.
so.
Plus,
Think-
you have so much experience and the knowledge behind it.
I was just gonna say, think of the trouble John and I'll get
I know.
into.
You can always call. Yeah, but sometimes they don't want to hear that.
I know. Should let them know anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think that's your moral obligation to let them know whether or not they care, whether or not they think they should know, whether or not they care. Yeah.
I think it is important that they care, otherwise it's just a job.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. No, I would agree with that. I would agree with that.
Mr. Conroy from the region, he's leaving.
Oh, no, really?
Yeah. I thought he was a really quality person
Hmm.
to handle the budgets.
Mm-hmm.
So I dread what they're going through now. Having to prepare for his departure.
Yeah. It's gonna be a rough time for all of us.
Yeah, and Molly's supposed to be leaving.
Molly.
Chief assessor
Oh,
in August.
which one is she? The curly haired one or the straighter haired one?
More straighter here.
Okay. With a little bit of a shake.
Yeah.
Yep.
And Margaret's
Margaret.
is
Yeah.
gone. Somebody else. But I find it odd because when I first worked here, everybody who worked here lived in town,
Mm.
It's not the requirement anymore.
It was never
It
a
was never a requirement. No.
No, but Freddie was in my husband's Weeble, so I've known Freddie for a while. He was always a good kid.
Okay, I'm going to officially adjourn us at
Okay.
8:40.